Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Django Meetup. Marco, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hello. Oh,
Excellent.
still have my old my old background.
Perfect. Well, welcome everyone to the August virtual edition of the London Django Meetup. This is our fourth virtual meetup now, isn't it, Marco?
I think the 5th, maybe.
The fifth.
Yeah, it could be. I think we started in April, so April, May, June, July. Yeah, I think it's the 5th.
Well, that's 2020 for you, isn't it? Time going very quickly. Right, I'll just go through our welcome slides then. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us on this heatwave day. I'm not actually in London, so I'm not having the joy of experiencing it. I'm over in Lisbon. Okay, here's our code of conduct. Be awesome to everyone. This especially applies when we open up the video chat for everyone at the end of the meetup to carry on discussing Django. If you've not heard of our code of conduct, you can go check it out on our website with the link there. Tonight's meetup is again kindly sponsored by these two organizations, JetBrains and Pollen. Pollen is a marketplace for the best in shared experiences. And I should have asked if anyone from Pollen is on the line. I'm having a quick look. I'm not seeing anyone I recognize. If you are from Pollen and want to flag this, just ping on the chat. Okay, I think we'll carry on.
Let's give them a minute to.
Yeah.
Just
their website is pollen.co. I'm not sure if they're hiring right now, but they have been in the past. And they probably will be in the future. All right, I'll carry on. This is our schedule today. We've got a little bit of news. We've got a talk from Marco here. We've got a prize draw, and then we'll open up a discussion. Everyone will be promoted. You'll be free to turn on your webcams and audio and chat about whatever topics you feel are relevant, perhaps asking more on the talk or other news that you've heard of. So here's the big piece of news. Django 3.1 has been released finally. The code name for this release is Potpourri. It's not really an official code name thing we do, but in every single release blog post, there's an adjective used to describe the new features, like the host of new features, or in this one, it's a potpourri of new features. The two headline features would be the asynchronous views and a universal JSON field. So you no longer need a third-party package to do that. Other news is a couple of virtual Django conferences. The first one being DjangoCon Australia. That's Australia with an A in the middle, not Australia, as I've managed to typo there. And that will be online on the 4th of September. It's actually part of PyCon Australia. And I think that's free this year. I couldn't see any pricing information anywhere on their website. But at the same time, it's all being put together last minute. So I don't know if they've shared anything about attending yet. And then we have DjangoCon Europe as well, which is online a couple of weeks later, from the 18th to the 19th September. I know one or two people here, including myself, are giving talks here. I guess it's mostly going to be recorded talks that will be played back online at the same time, and ability to socialize. This is also free. This is this evening's talk. It's going to be on full text search in Django. And Marco's going to talk us through a couple of different approaches that he's used. I think centering on Postgres at the end, but we'll find out more in a second. We also have a prize draw for 2 discount codes for a 1-year license of any JetBrains product. This is their sponsorship to us. It's very generous. During Marco's talk, I will paste a link to a Google form, and I'll paste it again at the end. And then from that, we do a random draw of 2 people to get the licenses. And as I hinted at earlier, the end will be an open discussion for anyone who wants to stay on, discuss anything related to Django. If you've got a burning topic or question, feel free to ask it to our not so large room of experts this time. We'll have 23 people at the moment, it looks like. So it should be a nice size for a discussion.
Sorry, Adam. There is a message from Benjamin from Django Day Copenhagen. He was saying that they will also streaming on September 25th. In fact, actually, like the talk that I'm giving tonight, it will be given again at Django Day Copenhagen. Ben, do you want to announce it yourself since you are here?
I'll promote Ben to a panelist if he wants to.
Or we can do this later.
Hello, everybody. Yes, it's official news. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to put it on the website yet. Tonight, we're learning a little bit about conducting meetings on Zoom. And we are confident now that we have both a plan A and a plan B for having both a physical and an online virtual Django Day Copenhagen 2020. So looking forward to your talk, Marco.
No, thank you.
Both here and in a month.
Awesome, and awesome background.
All right.
Oh, nice.
I guess that's from DjangoCon Europe last year.
It is indeed.
All right, thank you for that extra news. Is that going to be free and online, Ben?
Yes, it is. And there will be a special package available for both people who, in case we need to cancel, we'll simply convert all of the physical tickets to a package that's sent to the doorstep. And it's also possible very soon to purchase a home viewing sort of experience for the day.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you. Yep, so that would be the discussion at the end. One last point before we get on. If you want to give a talk, please email or message us. Or in fact, we have a form now that you can fill in, Google form, from which we'll contact you. And that is in a pinned tweet on our Twitter profile. So if you go to twitter.com/DjangoLondon, it's pretty easy to find.
I will also post the link later, just for everyone.
Excellent. Here are our links: DjangoLondon.com, Twitter, GitHub, and Open Collective if you want to look inside our finances. And now we're going on with the talk.
So yeah, hello everyone. Let me figure out my screen. Adam, sorry about you have disabled this share screen for me.
Try now.
Yes, here it is working. Can you all see my screen?
I can see it, and I will turn myself up now.
Okay, thank you, Adam. So full text search in Django. Why is search so important? Well, we're talking about that tonight. Well, we live in a world of data. Every day we are publishing new information, we categorize it, we share it, but we also need to access this. So we have different ways to categorize data. We have vertical system with categories, we have horizontal system like tags, but categorize information is a long and slow task that is subject to systematic error and bias. There are some new machine learning systems that allow us to do this automatically and very fast, but setting them up is very time-consuming and expensive. So often search is still the best solution. You just insert a keyword into a system, you end up with like seeing all the matches. It's something that we have been using for years. Users know this approach. So tonight I'm going to talk about how do you implement this in Django. I'm going to go through different technologies that are available in Django to do a full text search and try to pinpoint what is the strong suit of each one, and so when you should use each one based on your requirements. I divided different technologies for search in 4 main families: standard textual queries, external services, the Postgre full text search, and the Postgre Trigram. The standard textual query is the simplest search system that we have. It's requires 0 setup. It comes with every database, and it's quick and simple to use. On the other hand, it's a binary system. The only things that it's going to tell you if it's a string it in a specific record or is not. Will not tell you anything about how many times it's in that record, in what position, and it will not allow you to rank the result. Django comes with 3 lookup that belong to this family of the standard textual queries. The first 2 contain and I contains are available for every database. First one, it will check for a string and is case sensitive. It will make a distinction between uppercase and lowercase characters. The second one, the I stand for insensitive, and it will search for both the uppercase and the lowercase version and give you both results. There is a third one, an accent, that is Postgre specific. It will search for case insensitive, but it will also replace every accented character with the non-accented version. In this way, we'll be able to match both. So if you look at this example, I have Django using some specific accented character. This kind of search will match also the non-accented version. As I say, standard textual query is easiest and fastest way to do a text search. It has, what's a good case for this kind of queries? I think that filtering in the admin interface, it's an excellent case. We are talking about a situation in which you have an internal user, not an external one. So someone that knows the system and someone that probably knows the data set already. So even if the search is a little bit, it is not that precise, they can still use it in a very efficient way. On the other hand, I will not use this for an external user. So if I have a blog and I want to search in the content of every blog post, I will not use this kind of search for the end user. It's just not precise enough. Next on the list, external services. Now, this is a big bucket in which I put a lot of different things. I mentioned 3 here, but there are many: Elasticsearch, Apache Solr, and Algolia. Also, these 3, they are kind of different because while Elasticsearch and Solr, they are software that you can install and deploy by yourself. Algolia, it's a service that you can pay. They have their own API and you can use it, but you don't have to deploy it. These systems are extremely performant. They can manage millions of records, and they are particularly reliant to having like a lot of requests at the same time, and they come with a lot of features, very specific to search. I'm talking about spell checking, faceting, weighted search, special ranking, and more and more. It's almost too good to be true. On the other hand, they do increase the complexity of your application because now you have another piece, and this means that you have another component that is in production. Probably if you have a staging environment, it's there as well. If you develop on your personal system, you also have to manage that locally. And you have to manage 2 copies on your data because you're going to have data on your database as usual for every functionality. And then you're going to do search on a different system. And so you have to take these 2 systems and sync. Now, external services is like the high-cost, high-value solution. As I say, they are a little bit hard to implement, but they offer the highest performance and the most feature. How does the implementation usually look like? Beside this being a lot of different systems, is usually more or less the same. You will have to define a schema for the search index that is kind of a model definition of this index for the search. You will have to index all the existing record in your database, so you are going to have an asynchronous task or something that is sending to this third-party system everything you want to search for. And then you will have to find a way to synchronize between your database and the search index. This is usually done through post-save and post-delete signals in Django. And if you don't know how signal works, I can talk a little bit about them at the end of the talk. But yeah, the idea is that every time that you change something, Django emits a post-save signals, and this will allow you to index the new record in the search index. And when you delete something, Django emits a post-delete signals, and you can use the signal to remove something from the index. And in this way, you can keep your index up to date. What are these systems good at? As I say, very big database, but also high traffic. These are like systems that are like battle tested to manage a lot of requests at the same time. Also, they don't necessarily have to connect to Django. So if you have a front-end application, you don't need to have an endpoint in the middle. You can have your front-end talking directly with the search system, and this is going to save your requests in the backend if you have an iLoad. Also, some of the features, some of the advanced features, it could be very interesting for you. For instance, once I worked with a database of books, and one of the requirements was to having the book that had been published later to come highest in the search than the book that had been published earlier, but with the same title. So if there is a new edition of a book that will come first in the search, that's something that you can do with this kind of systems and provide a specific function for ranking. When you should not use this kind of system, when you should avoid them? Well, as I said, it requires some work to put them together. They come sometimes with Django-specific integration or Python integration that you can use, but there is always a little bit of work to integrate them and to maintain them. So if you're tight on development resource, you should probably avoid them. Next on is Postgres full text module. In this talk, there are like a lot of very specific Postgres feature. Is I guess that it is the database that is most supported by Django, and I always suggest to go for Postgres when you are in a new Django project. So how does the full text search works? It's kind of a semantic search. I wrote ish in the slide. It's not very semantic, but it kind of uses dictionaries in different languages to kind of create a semantic search system. It can use the advanced ranking. It has some feature for ranking different results that are very similar to external systems like Elastic and Solr. You can search in more than one field at the same time, and is highly configurable. On the other hand, it's language dependent. And when I talk about language, I'm not talking about Python, I'm talking about English or French, Italian. You use dictionaries or word to work, and so every time you index something, you have to specify in which language is it. But how does it work in Canada? So when you want to index something, first it will try to normalize the word. So take a word and remove the plural, for instance. Then we'll remove from the text that is ready for search every stop word like preposition and conjunction, And in general, very common word that will create noise in the index. And in the end, it will apply to every word a frequency score and use them in ordering. Let's do an example. I used the PostgreSQL query here in the example and also in the following, but Django does this for you underdo it with your RAM. So if you try to index the Django tagline, the web framework for perfectionists with deadlines, you specify the language English. First, it's going to normalize the word. As you can see, deadlines has become deadline, and the last part of the word has been removed. So this can be matched with both singular and plural. D, for, and with have been removed as very common words. And eventually we have a frequency score applied. So deadline is not a very common word and has a 7, while web is a more common expression. It's just a stew, and framework and perfectionist are in the middle. Oh, wait a second. Let's keep on this page. Postgre applied this algorithm to both everything you want to search in, to index it, but also to the query that you're giving to them. So when you try to search for something, it will apply the same algorithm and then compare the two results and then give you a result. It's interesting to notice that this normalization algorithm is language dependent. And so if I take the exact same sentence and I ask PostgreSQL to index it for different languages, the result will be different. In Italian, for instance, the word for will not be filtered out because it's not a stop word in Italian. As deadline, it would be not normalized because singular and plural rules, they work in a different way. This can be a limitation. If you have a data set or with records in a few different languages, the search is not gonna be as good as for data set in which every single record is in the same language. Another very interesting feature of the Postgre full text search is the ranking system. It will give you highest ranking when you match multiple words in the same record. If the two words that you are matching, they appear together in the same part of the text, they will give you an higher rank that if one appears at the beginning of the text and the other one at the end. And also, since the system can search in different fields at the same time, you can apply a different weight, a different importance to each individual field. So a match in the title will be ranked higher compared to a match in the description or in the content. Where you should use this? I think that like for content of the articles of a blog or a magazine, this is a very good example. This works very well when you have a lot of long pieces of text in the same language and you want to find sparse information in them. A bad use case will be movie titles. This is a very specific example. I want to explain this. Movie titles, often they use some weird spelling or they use noun in them or non-common words. So normalization, it will not work on this. Sometimes the article is a very important part of the movie title. So like Lord of the Rings, it will just be Lord Ring, and you're removing half of the words. So yeah, normalization for really short piece of text that have a high density of noun, it can be really bad, and it could actually work against you. Yeah, last but not the least, actually, my favorite, Trigram. Trigram is language independent. found result even when you have misspelling. On the other hand, it's not as good as full text search for for large text sizes. So how Trigram works. The algorithm will divide every piece of text in trigrams. A trigram is a series of 3 characters. This is then adding first some space at the beginning and some space at the end of every string. Then the system goes and takes the first 3 characters, then ignore the first and take from the second to the fourth, then from the third to the fifth, and create all this series of 3 characters. In the end, when it transforms a piece of text in a list of trigrams, remove duplication from this list and order them. I know this sounds like complicated, but I'm going to make an example. So the string Django, for instance.